I woke up this morning staying at the Backpackers right there, and the cops called me saying my car was stolen. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This video is part of the vlog series on moving to New Zealand, and it's going to be a sit down video because I really have a lot to update you guys on, but I don't want to start this video off with a pity fest and saying that it's poor me, I just want your sympathy. That's not the point of this video. I've been very transparent this entire vlog series about being open and honest with you of my experience, the ups and the downs. So that's what this is. It's literally just sharing what happened to me, and it's part of my journey on this 1-year working holiday visa that I'm on right now. Surprise! I'm in Wellington right now. I'm currently in Wainuiomata, to be more specific. It's a very beautiful area in a valley surrounded by hills. My wonderful friend Matt actually came to pick me up in Taupo about 3 days ago now and drove me back the same day. So it's like 10 hours of driving. I can't believe I have a friend that's willing to do that. It's just really kind of humbling, but so thankful for him to do that for me because I just didn't know what to do. So without trying to build suspense or anything, my car was stolen and subsequently totaled by the thieves. So that's what this update is about, telling you the story of how my car was stolen, how I discovered it, the things I had to do after I found out that it was stolen, and then where I am now and the current update situation of what I'm going to do and my plans for the next few months. So I guess I have to start back from the beginning. I arrived in Taupo after my road trip. My time there was fine. I parked out front of the hostel with absolutely no issues. I had no thought in my mind that Taupo was a place I needed to be careful with my safety on or just to watch my car. You know, I had no idea. I'm just going around driving my car as I had been for the past 7 weeks, just thinking that nothing would happen. Well, unfortunately, on the night of March 2nd, 2020, it actually was stolen from out front of the hostel parking. My car was surrounded by at least like 20 other cars. I have no idea why in the end these thieves chose to steal my car. I have a photo of where my car was missing the morning I discovered that my car was stolen. So it all started on March 3rd. I woke up at 8:30 in the morning to a phone call from police. The local Taupo police left a message on my phone.
Hi Kyra, it's Constable from Taupo Police. Next to your car, looks like it's been stolen. I don't know if you know that yet. But yeah, contact me or if not Taupo Police and just need to get hold of you. Okay, the car's going to be picked up and taken to Taupo Towing where it will get fingerprinted. But yeah, we've got your car and looks like lots of your clothing as well. Okay, you can give me a call. Thanks a lot. Bye.
And I remember waking up all groggy and just trying to be like, okay, I'm starting my first shift today at the hostel as a housekeeper. So I was just about to start, and so I'm like getting up at 8:30, I look at my phone, I have a couple missed messages, and I have a voicemail. So I actually called my voicemail, and the first time I listened to it, I'm like, what is this? And I actually hung up. And then I listened to the voicemail again, and that's when it sunk in that something wasn't right. My adrenaline shot up instantly. I started shaking. I just jumped out of the bed. They were like these custom-made pod beds, and I just jumped out of the top one, changed as quickly as I could. I didn't even do like brushing my teeth or anything. I just ran out of the hostel, and I went outside and I saw that my car was missing. I debated filming this, but I have to because this has never happened to me. But I woke up this morning staying at the Backpackers right there, and the cops called me saying my car was stolen. So I'm meeting with the cops now. They found my car, and I had things in the car, like my clothes and stuff and other documents, so I don't know what was stolen or what damage has been done. Obviously they hotwired the car because the doors were locked. I have the keys, and I just don't know why they targeted my car. I'm so upset, but I'm about to talk to the cops who are gonna tell me what they found, and they said that there's some stuff still left in the car, and I don't have theft insurance on my car, so like who knew this would happen? All of these cars parked here and mine is stolen from right there. Like, I'm so upset right now. So imagine that feeling of your entire car being gone. And yes, I was storing things in my car. I know that it's gonna be, you know, everyone has an opinion, but yes, I was keeping my larger suitcase in the car, in the back, along with a couple other things and just items that I've collected over the past 4 months almost that I had been living in New Zealand. And when you have a vehicle, you just tend to put things in it as storage. Nothing of high value. All of my high value items were with me in the hostel and some were locked away in a locker. So nothing super expensive was stolen, but I did have quite a bit of clothing and just a bunch of random things in the car that I was now stressing over. I just couldn't process it. I went into shock. I was on the phone with the New Zealand police. I was on hold with the cops for at least 15 minutes. Just at that point, my panic is to 100%. I'm crying. I can't pull it together. I'm on hold. I'm texting my mom and dad over WhatsApp telling them what happened. They're freaking out because, you know, what are the odds of this happening to their daughter on her year away in New Zealand? Yeah, I didn't think I'd get emotional, but it's just thinking back to that time, you know, it just was so upsetting. And I realized that it's a car, it's just a thing that can be replaced, but honestly, you just don't think that it would happen to you. Yeah, it was just a shock, right? So I had a car when I went to bed and I woke up and I didn't have a car. So I didn't know how to react, but I just went into total shock. Let me just pull myself together here. Alright, so yeah, I didn't know what to do, so I just had to wait on hold with the police, and finally, eventually, I was able to talk to somebody who was able to find out the constable who was assigned to my case. He then later met me in person out front of the hostel. So when I met with the police constable, it was all just too much for me. I was still crying, and he was trying to tell me what happened, and I would like go in and out of crying and trying to be strong and not cry just so that I could absorb what he was trying to tell me. At first in the message he just said, "We found your vehicle," and so I'm thinking maybe there's hope. I just need to fix, you know, a couple things in the car to make it drive worthy. And then he said, "Unfortunately, there is quite a lot of damage." And then he showed me the photo of what he took at the crime scene, and I knew immediately. I just started crying when I saw the picture because I was just like, are you serious? So not only did the thieves break into my car, they gained access to my locked vehicle by smashing the small back window. They somehow crawled in or unlocked the door from that point, crawled to the front of the car, broke the ignition barrel off so they could hotwire and start the car some way. They then stole my car. They drove it to an undisclosed area, probably a grassy field, just by evidence of how much grass was all over my vehicle when I did eventually see it. They ransacked the car, went through a lot of my things, and they stole a few items that were very random. Like, I have no idea what was their thought process stealing. So after stealing some of my items, they decided to go for a joyride. The police informed me that the area where they eventually found my car, the neighbors said they heard a car squealing around, doing donuts in the streets at 4 in the morning. And then the thieves decided to drive my car straight into a light pole, thereby destroying the car, totaling it, and making it undrivable. They then abandoned the car at the scene, fled with my items that they stole from inside my car, and were never caught. This is what the constable told me on site. At this point, I'm thinking this whole theft of my car was pointless. It was just for a joyride, a stupid moment for somebody who thought that it would be fun to do this, and then consequently ruin a lot of my plans and put a really big, disappointing smear on my trip. Not that my trip is ruined, but it definitely has thrown a wrench into my plans and just sort of made things quite difficult for me after that. All of the steps I had to go through to finish up getting rid of this vehicle. So unfortunately, I did not have theft insurance on the car. I did purchase third-party insurance, so at the moment I was just thinking about me being in an accident with the car potentially, and then my third-party insurance would make sure that the car that I hit was covered. But the value of my car, I bought it for $2,000. I just didn't think it was worth it at the time to get extra insurance for theft and fire. And even if I had gotten into a road accident and something happened to my car, I didn't even get insurance to fix my car because honestly it was a 2004 Mazda Demio and it probably wasn't even worth $2,000 that I paid for it. So I just was thinking kind of in those terms. But if I would have just had theft insurance, I would have gotten a little bit of money back for the car. But because I didn't have any theft insurance on my vehicle, I got nothing for the car. So it was just a total loss of $2,000, which was, you know, disappointing because I was was planning on selling the car to get back a little bit more money at the end of my journey here in New Zealand, but now obviously it's just gone. It's a write-off and there's nothing I can do about it. So I was just really gutted about it, you know, because I had this car. I really did think we were going to be on this journey together. Like, it's almost like it was another person. A car is just, it feels different, and maybe only other people that own cars will understand the feeling of kind of a bizarre attachment you get to a car. And Little Red Rocket was my first car ever. I've never owned a car before. So when I came to New Zealand, this was literally the first car that I've ever owned, and I was so proud of it. I was washing it by hand. I had things to wash my car with, and I referred to my car as like my faithful companion. I don't know why it hit me so hard, but it really did. So that whole day I was a zombie walking around Taupo, trying to just come to terms with what had happened, but not really doing a good job of it, to be honest. And I was alone, so you know, it's tough when you don't have that person that you can lean on. But I did reach out to my support network that I do have around here, so at least I had support through phone calls and through texts and just reassuring messages from other travelers as well, who were asking like what was wrong. God, I really didn't think I'd get this emotional. Because I was just out of it that day. I was not myself, and I basically just had to wait. So the constable finished up our meeting in person by telling me the police towed it to the only tow yard in town, which was 3 kilometers away from this town center. They were holding it for forensics, so I couldn't actually even see the car the day that I discovered it was stolen. So the constable told me I had to wait until I got a call from their forensics team saying that they finished their fingerprinting and they released it back to me to figure out what to do with it next and to gather the rest of my personal belongings that were still in the vehicle. So that call didn't come at all on the 3rd. I had to wait until the next morning. So it turned out about 9:30 a.m. I get a call from the tow yard saying the fingerprint guy had arrived and he was going to do his work. And then about 10:13 a.m. I got a call from the forensics officer himself saying that he completed the forensics of the vehicle. Unfortunately, he was only able to pull one fingerprint from the outside of the car. He said it may or may not be your fingerprint, I'm not sure, but we'll run it through our database and see what we can find. Even if they found the person who stole my car and punished them, it just wouldn't really make a difference to me. My car was stolen anyways, I'm not gonna get it back, and whatever they stole out of the car, I'm not going to get that back either. So even if they found someone or they didn't, my situation's not going to change. I just wanted to move on as fast as possible. So very kindly, the manager at the YHA, he let me borrow his vehicle. I drove out to the tow yard to then do the job of cleaning out my car, assessing what was left, what was stolen, and then putting the other things into Finn's car to then take back to the hostel. I've just borrowed the manager's car from the hostel and I'm gonna go check out the car now. They were holding the car because they had to do fingerprinting, and it's raining out today, so a little bit fitting for this somber task of having to go get my car and get everything out of it that I can salvage. So that's when I went to the tow yard and I saw the car for the first time. It was pretty shocking. I thought I would cry, but I actually didn't. Oh. Is that how you guys got it?
Yep.
Is the plate gone?
The bumper's just behind the car.
Oh my gosh, they really did a number, didn't they?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. It's quite shocking.
It's not good.
I was just so on edge the night before, not knowing what was taken, not knowing what was still in the car. It was just keeping me up at night. I couldn't sleep well that night, obviously. But once I saw the car, it's just like everything got put into perspective, and I just felt actually a lot better about things, oddly enough, and I just really got grounded when I saw it. Yeah, it actually isn't that bad. Oh my gosh. Is there a suitcase back there? Oh, thank goodness. So they did go through everything. They went through a lot of it. So yeah, I see some stuff that's been taken for sure. But I gotta know for sure. Like I gotta go through it. I brought some do you have bags or anything? Or
Yeah,
I have
we've got
some
big bags.
Yeah.
Have you got another vehicle you can load it into or not?
Yeah, but it's like out there and
Alright.
this is really shocking to see this. I cannot believe how much damage they've done to the front. They've definitely stolen my goods. I know right away what's been stolen. And they've gone into my suitcase. They've even looked at this e-reader and decided not to take it. They've gone through my packing cubes, taken it out of the big case, so they were looking for items of value, and at least I got one hoodie. They took my brand new Kathmandu hoodie that I bought. Now I have to do some packing to get all this put away and bring it back to the hostel. So immediately I found some things that were stolen from the vehicle. Most annoyingly, the thing that was stolen was my brand new Kathmandu hoodie jacket that I just bought. I had just, last minute put it in the back of my seat and didn't think to bring it into the hostel. So I'll just run through a couple of the things they stole. They didn't steal much. I did get a lot of my clothes back, which was quite surprising. My suitcase was still in the back seat. They actually opened all of my small cases. They dumped out my makeup bag, so my makeup is all over the bottom. Like, they were really searching for stuff. These are the things that they stole. My Kathmandu jacket, which was valued at $104.99 New Zealand dollars. They also stole my Nike Zoom running shoes. Those are valued at $119.99 Canadian dollars. They stole my beach mat, which my mother had purchased in the United States. That was 10 US dollars. We bought that in Hawaii. They stole a half-used bottle of Vaseline lotion, which was about 8 New Zealand dollars. They stole my car accessory cup holder device that I got from Kmart for around 6 New Zealand dollars. They stole another car accessory, which was a phone holder mount. That was about 12 New Zealand dollars. And lastly, they stole the most random thing that it was just so annoying, was a baggie of my used assorted socks that I packed for my trip from home, which is approximately around 15 Canadian dollars worth of socks that were stolen. Who steals a bottle of lotion and socks? Like, these were not brand new socks. I had used them. And like, maybe 2 of them were Under Armour brand name. The others were just from any old store. No brand associated to them. Like, I understand stealing the Kathmandu and the Nike shoes. Those are brand name stuff. But why would you steal a bottle of lotion? Like, I just don't get it. In total, it was about $300 worth of things that were stolen from inside the car. What I could do though is I have travel insurance, and the items inside the vehicle that were my personal belongings were insured, and so I was able to do a claim, which took ages, but I was able to do a claim for the Nike shoes and the Kathmandu jacket because I had original receipts for both of those items. So we'll see if anything comes of it, but I actually did take the time to put the claim in, because if I could get some money back for those items that I lost, then that's better than nothing at all, like I was getting for the car, which is nothing at all. So now we're going to get into all the steps that you have to take after your car is no longer drivable and you need to now dispose of it and deregister it properly within how you need to do things here in New Zealand. So the tow yard was absolutely no help. I was trying to dispose of the car. They were going to charge me to dispose of it. They were going to take it, not give me anything for the car, and just charge a towing and a disposal fee. So because my car was stolen, I then would have to pay them to dispose of the car. It just seems so unfair. So I started trying to phone around and get wrecker numbers. Like a wrecker, I've never done this before, so I had no experience calling a wrecker or a scrap person to come pick up the car. Usually these people will come to pick up the car for free. They will tow it away for free, and usually they'll give you a bit of money for the parts of the vehicle. Now, my vehicle is not worth a lot of money. It also had a lot of front damage, and so I didn't get hardly anything for it. But I had this huge struggle trying to find any company in the small town of Taupo who would even be interested to come look at the car. I would tell them the make and model of my car when I was phoning around like 3-4 different companies, and they would literally just say, no, I'm not interested in that car. Click. Or this one guy was actually yelling at me like, fill out the form online and get a quote, but I mean, I'm not really gonna pay this. Like, I have no idea what the problem is with some of these people in that industry, but they were just not wanting to come get the car, which is literally their job. So it didn't, I still don't get it. I'm still confused. So eventually I finally found somebody in Rotorua who was able to agree to come get my car. And at first he was like, oh, I'll come tomorrow morning. But then I'm telling him, can you come today? Because the tow yard's going to charge me a fee to keep it there overnight if it's not picked up that day. The police kindly were going to pay the fee of towing the car and of the storage for the 2 days it took them to do the forensics. They agreed to pay that charge. So that was like a couple $100. But if I was going to let it stay there and if I was going to dispose of the car with the tow yard, that's another couple $100. So I just thought I'd rather have someone come get it for free than have me have to pay to dispose of it. And it's just sad because it was my first car and now I'm trying to do anything I can to get rid of it for scraps. Like, it's just really sad. So eventually I found some guy who was willing to do it, and it was all a little bit like crazy and just disorganized and kind of comical in the end. Like, I do see the humor in how I was treated with these wreckers that just refused to come get my car. It was just bizarre. So eventually a driver agreed to meet me that day at 5 p.m. I'm on my way to meet the wrecker now. I had a super hard time trying to find a wrecker that would come out to get my car. Like, I don't know what is going on here, but it's just been so hard to do these things. So finally got one from Rotorua, so he's driving in and I have to meet him at the tow company. So now I'm walking there. It's an hour's walk in the rain, but I'm choosing to walk. I could Uber, but I want to walk just to clear my head, and I'm just hoping to get the car taken away at this point. I don't know what he will give me in terms of money for the parts. Doesn't matter, just take it off my hands. That's basically the point I'm at right now. So I met him there. He actually got there super early, like way earlier than 5 p.m. and then we just did some negotiation. They gave me $150 for the car just so that they could auction it and make even more money, I'm sure. I had no other options. At that point, I needed to just get rid of the car. I didn't have the luxury of privately selling the car for parts myself, which I'm sure would have gotten me a lot more money, but honestly, I was staying at a hostel, so where the heck am I going to store a wrecked up vehicle that is indrivable? There was a hole in the engine. So there's just no way that I could do anything privately, and the time frames that I was working in is I wanted to leave as soon as possible. My friend Matt kindly agreed to come get me on Friday, so I only had till Friday to figure out what to do with this car. So I just really wanted to get rid of it in the easiest way possible, and for me that was just to sell it to a wrecker who would come get it for free, take it away, and I would never have to see it again or deal with any of the disposal of it. So you know what, I got $150 out of it, so it wasn't like the best, but I know that, you know, you don't really get much for your car when you sell it to wreckers anyways, especially if it's been in an accident. So that was Majid. He picked up my car. I got $150 for it, which whatever. You know, I knew it wasn't going to be much, but he actually gave me a lift back to town, so that was actually nice because I did an hour's walk there in the rain. But that's it. That was my little red rocket driving off to be sold for parts, or Lord knows what else will be done with her. Yeah, that's it. The story of how my very first car ended. So once I finally got the car disposed of, I could actually release a little bit of that stress that I was holding on to, because I was so stressed about every little things that I had to do in regards to getting rid of the car. And finally, after I saw it get driven away by the wrecker, I was able to just breathe out and just feel that relief of like, I can start to put this behind me now and move forward. I was finally able to start doing the steps to just close down this car. So I was able to go to AA, because New Zealand Transport Authority, when you want to deregister a car, they make you go to one of their agents, either AA or there's another one, but there was an automotive association location right in the town of Taupo. So I was able to go there. I had to hand in my 2 license plates and the little registration card that usually goes in the front windscreen of the car. That was like a $9 fee to pay to deregister the car, and you had to fill out a form and everything, so it wasn't too bad, and I was able to take care of canceling my car insurance. I did have third party and I had paid for the whole year, so I was able to cancel only after 7 weeks of owning the car. And I got $116 back in a refund for that insurance, because obviously I don't need it anymore. And I was also informed that I would get a little bit of money back from the registration on the vehicle, because my rego was good until May, and since it was only March the 3rd, I was able to get back that time until May, so I'll get a little bit of a refund for that registration. And once I took care of those little tiny tasks with the car, I just felt so much better. My personality is if something happens, I need to get like through all the steps as quickly as I can just so I can move on and just sort of go to the next chapter, because it's no use in me wallowing and dwelling on the bad stuff that happened, because that's not going to do anything for me. It's not going to change the reality of the situation I was in. I just needed to think about things like silver lining things, you know? There's a couple silver linings that I discovered. I was able to have freedom for 7 weeks to drive around, go around New Zealand. I drove over 2,200 kilometers in the car in that 7 weeks, which is a lot, and I saw a lot of New Zealand in the car. I also did not put any money into the car. The only thing I spent money on was the mechanic who put oil into my vehicle when it was really low on oil in Paia. So that's the only work I put into the car. I did not get my car serviced. Which I probably should have, but I'm kind of glad I didn't now. And my WAF was due in June, so I didn't have to do my WAF, which would have cost money as well, my warrant of fitness. Silver lining is I didn't put money into the car. The other silver lining is I was safe. You know, my car was stolen. It was not like I was in an accident or anything with the vehicle, and then that would have been even worse because then I probably would have been injured. So that was another silver lining. The other thing is that they found my car, so even though it was stolen, it was abandoned, and I did get to get back a lot of my things from the vehicle. Only a couple things were stolen. The rest of the stuff I got to get back, and I did get rid of a lot of the things that I was using my car as storage for. So the only thing I really lost out on was the fact that I don't have my car anymore. I'm not going to be able to get any money back for that $2,000 I spent. But then I started comparing it to, you know, if I had rented a car for a month to do a road trip of the Northland, it would have been like over $1,000. So because I bought my car private sale and only spent $2,000, it was a lot cheaper than a car rental would have been. I just had to try to justify it in my mind that there were silver linings here in the situation that I was needing to focus on instead of like how bad everything else was, because, you know, bad things happen, and I don't associate car thievery just in New Zealand. Like, theft happens everywhere in the world. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any country that's exempted from crime. Just don't let this one thing ruin your whole perspective of a country, of the people that live there, because there's so many good people who are here in New Zealand. Take into account my friend Matt, who offered to come get me from Taupo, drive me back to his parents' place here in Wainuiomata, and let me stay at their place for a few weeks, you know, free of charge, just to get myself back on my feet. Take that person who's born and raised in New Zealand, and then take the person who decided to steal my car. You know, there's just so many more people that are good like Matt and his family compared to, you know, the people that are in desperate situations and decide that they want to steal and live a life of crime. So now, you know, I'm learning a lot of things. I'm taking a lot of lessons out of this big, you know, ordeal that happened to me. Definitely sensitive. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm like superhuman and I'm totally okay now. Obviously, I'm still getting emotional about it, and I'm still sensitive over some things that happen, because when someone goes through your things like that, it is very violating to have your things looked through like that and stolen. So yeah, definitely I'm still very sensitive on the topic, but I am looking ahead now. It is definitely about focusing on how you get to take and accept a lesson in life. You can choose to stay in the negative kind of aspect of it, like, why did this happen to me? Woe is me, woe is me. Or you could just focus on other things, like what can you take away from it? Do some self-reflection, do some self-growth. All the lessons that we get in life are opportunities to learn and grow from them. Even if they are really bad things that happen, you can always see a bright side in the situation and grow as an individual. So that's definitely the route that I'm choosing to take here. So thank you so much for watching this video. Definitely not the update I wanted to film. I definitely wanted to have my little red rocket, my first car ever. I wanted to be with her for a lot longer than just 7 weeks, but honestly that 7 weeks was incredible, and I'm really, really happy that I got to have the experience of driving her for 7 weeks rather than nothing at all. So I'm in Wellington now. So that's where the vlogs will be. For the rest of March, I'm going to be here in beautiful Wellington, Wainuiomata area, and I'm gonna enjoy myself. And it's just been brilliant being with a family who's so caring, and they're so sweet to me. Like, I just feel like, what did I do to deserve this such nice treatment from these people? So I just am trying to be as present as I can, and just to continue my journey here in New Zealand, because at the end of the day, I'm living in New Zealand and this was my dream to be here. So it would be a shame to just get stuck in a mindset that is holding me back from fully enjoying my experience. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care and happy travels. Bye!